Republican frontrunner asked today about his tax returns again. Returns he says he will release eventually. So he was asked today, what's your tax rate? And here's how he answered the question.
It's none of your business. You'll see it when I release. But I fight very hard to pay as little tax as possible.
Out front tonight, Trump supporters Kayleigh McEnany and Pastor Mark Burns, former communications director for Senator Ted Cruz, Amanda Carpenter, and the editor-in-chief of the Daily Beast, John Avlon. Kayleigh, let me start with you. Look, everybody should try to pay as little tax as they can. That's what the tax statutes are for. There's nothing wrong with that. But why not just answer the question? What tax rate does he have to pay? I mean, this was a very big issue for Mitt Romney when this finally came out.
And I think he looks to Mitt Romney, and that's a cautionary tale, because here's the thing. Obama coerced Mitt Romney into releasing his tax returns. Mitt Romney released them. They discovered he had a Swiss bank account, perfectly legal, perfectly okay, but that was used to beat him over the head and paint him as a one-percenter. So that's a cautionary tale. And then, by the way, the Obama administration wasn't satisfied. They wanted more than 2 years' worth of tax returns. So if I'm Donald Trump, I'm not releasing my taxes.
But Mitt Romney's one of those people saying he should release his taxes. Mitt Romney's going out there saying, look, every candidate's done it for the last 40 years. It's the right thing to do. And look,
Donald Trump came out and told Mitt Romney he should release his taxes.
Right.
And I don't think Donald Trump's looking to take advice from who wants to see him fail at his task. So,
the fundamental point here is that he's hiding something, whether it's he doesn't make as much money as he says he does, the charitable giving is questionable. But if you're running solely on the basis of being a famously successful businessman and you've never held office before, then this is a necessary step to basic transparency and accountability.
No, you're not going to put more material out there for liberals to beat you over the head and paint you as a one-percenter.
This is not about ideology. This is about simple insight into a core attribute of a person who says he's a successful charitable giver.
The release of Mitt Romney's tax returns were the beginning of the end for Mitt Romney. That was the beginning of Mitt Romney has a Swiss bank account. He's a one-percenter.
If he shows he has a 14% rate or lower, he's either lying about how wealthy he is in terms of his income, or it's a rigged system, which we all know it is, and we can actually have that conversation.
Amanda?
Yeah, there shouldn't be a standard set where candidates don't participate in public disclosures so that the public knows how they made their money and conducted themselves in public life just because Mitt Romney, it may have been used against Mitt Romney. That certainly wasn't the reason he lost. He certainly wasn't coerced into doing so. Usually candidates come around to making the decision that this is an act of good faith that they should participate in so that the public can vet them appropriately, so the public knows how they made their money, so the public can ensure that there's no conflict of interest when they assume the most powerful office on earth.
Pastor Burns, I mean, isn't there something to be said for that? Donald Trump should put his tax returns out because, as John points out, not just because everybody's done it since 1976, not because of that necessarily, that's a big reason, but because he is running on, trust me, I know how to run a business, I'm successful. It's the core of who he is and his candidacy, isn't it?
Well, you know, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to go off the cuff here. You may never have me back on again, but I don't even understand why we're even talking about Donald Trump's tax returns when in reality we really should be talking about how the narrative of Donald Trump being this racist, this bigot who hates Muslims, who hates women, when you have the leader of the nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, singing praises to Donald Trump. I don't understand why that news hasn't broken the story. I don't understand why we're not talking about that. Why isn't every news agency talking about the leader of the black Muslim, the largest black Muslim organization in this country, Louis Farrakhan, the leader of the Nation of Islam, singing praises to to Donald Trump's temporary ban on Muslims. I think we should be talking about that rather than talking about tax returns.
All right, look, his issue, his changing position on his Muslim ban, which, by the way, he seems to be softening a little bit, that's a fair and important conversation. At this moment, though, we do want to talk about taxes and also about those tapes to the extent that this goes to character and if someone is really what they say that they are. And Kayleigh, on this issue of taxes, this is a crucial question. He is running as a successful businessman. So is it really okay for him to say it's not your tax? Is he going to be able to hide behind this for 6 months? He's got 6 months where you would have to come on TV saying, don't do it.
He's not hiding behind anything. He's just not going to make the same failed mistakes, because this is the thing. The media coerces you into releasing your taxes. The liberals coerce you. Last time I checked, you shouldn't take advice from liberals as to how to run your campaign. That's exactly what Mitt Romney did. That's why he failed. That was the beginning of the end. He does not need to release his taxes. End of story. And Clinton, but if she doesn't want to release her speeches, don't release your speeches. It's up to the candidate.
But people already know that he's rich. They know that his taxes aren't, tax rate will be low. I mean, they already know that will not be a shock.
But here's the thing: you have a document that says this is what your net worth is, this is what you're making, this is a Swiss bank account that's perfectly legal, but Hillary Clinton's going to use it to try to paint you as out of touch with the people who you represent. To give them that material is
spectacularly rich.
Hillary Clinton has released 30 years of taxes, right? And it's not just about liberals or conservatives. This is about a common standard that applies to everyone who's run for president for the last 40 years. And if your guy is saying that he's an enormously successful businessman who gives enormous amounts to charity, then this is a simple step. It's not about ideology. Transparency, and if you're not doing it, it's because you're hiding something.
Let's be happy. If this is really going to hurt Donald Trump so much, you should be happy because this is what you need to topple Trump.
No, that's not the point.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Yeah, and he's also made it very clear that he's going to release those taxes. Well, you know, right now he's in the middle of an audit. So who releases taxes in the middle of an audit? He's made it very clear. Let's move on.
Amanda.
Well, I got to say, I'm really disturbed by the fact that we are maybe setting a standard where candidates don't have to act in a transparent fashion.
Absolutely.
We're talking about a man or woman assuming the most powerful office on earth. Yes, we should see what Hillary Clinton told the Goldman Sachs audience for money. Yes, we should see how Donald Trump made his money. And I am very worried that both candidates running on the Republican and Democratic side feel like they don't have to participate in these disclosures.
But here's the thing. If Donald Trump has done something so wrong with his taxes, he's been through several audits. That's what the IRS is for. The IRS is there to be the watchdog with regard to your taxes. So if he's done something so terrible, so awful in his taxes,
here's the thing, he may be reforming the tax code. We should be able to see that he understands it, and I think it could actually work out very well for him. He could roll this out and say, look, I have employed so many people. Look at all these regulations I have to comply with. Look at all these lawyers I have to deal with. He could use this to his advantage, but it looks like he's hiding something.
Now, before we go to that point, this issue of the tapes, okay? And I want to bring them up because, yes, they talk about it being a running joke in New York.